Yeah, we back. Welcome back to another episode of The Culture. Welcome to The Culture, the hottest broadcast in the game. Go to the playlist section. We have an entire playlist dedicated to this series. Now, in this series, we discuss who is committing the most heinous crimes across the nation and across the world. This series was inspired by years of me listening to certain conservative talking heads in the media, certain conservative personalities that love to focus on crime in the black community, often framing it as if crime was unique to us specifically. So that inspired me to dig deeper into the actual crime data, the actual crime statistics and the headlines in the United States and across the world to see who is really committing the most barbaric, the most heinous, the most diabolical crimes across the nation and across the world. Now let's get into today's episode. Welcome to The Culture. Now, the subject of today's video, we're going to go to the U.S. military, right? We have somebody from the Air Force, a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Air Force. Now, I never served in the military, but for my brothers that served in the military, let me know. A lieutenant colonel in the Air Force, I believe that's a position of prestige, I believe. Let me know. I believe you got to put in some years on the grind and build up to that rank and really earn your position in the Army to become a lieutenant colonel in any sector of the Air Force. So, lieutenant colonel in the Air Force, and unfortunately, he lost it all. He lost his job. He lost his rank. He lost everything. He lost his reputation. Everything is all gone. He might lose his family as well, right? Anyways, brand new headlines coming out 4 days ago. Take a look up on the screen. A lieutenant colonel in the Air Force has been sentenced for crimes against children. Now, let's jump into the article. A military judge sentenced a U.S. Air Force lieutenant colonel to 12 and a half years of confinement for sex crimes against a child in a case dating back 3 years. Despite the allegations, Lieutenant Colonel Kevin DeFalco was able to keep his military job until sentencing, right? So this guy, they said while the entire time the case was going on, right, for years, for the past like at least 3 years, he has been continually getting paid off the U.S. taxpayer, right? We still been giving him his check every month while he's fighting a case for crimes against children. Just letting you know that, right? Just letting you know that. Anyway, let's continue. DeFalco was found guilty of 17 offenses by committing sexual assault of a child, indecent exposure, perjury, conduct unbecoming of an officer, indecent conduct, receiving child exploitation material, according to the Public Affairs Office at the Air Force Base where DeFalco worked. He violated 6 rules that members of the military are required to follow. His sentence includes dismissal from the Air Force, right? You're fired. Total forfeitures of your pay and your allowances, right? All your money, all gone, and a reprimand. The offenses were committed around Las Vegas, in Texas, and in Colorado. So listen, Lieutenant Colonel in the Air Force, allegedly, protecting and serving, protecting the American people, serving the country, but instead he's going state to state to different cities looking for the children. Now let's continue. An arrest report referred to DeFalco, a military commander at the time, as sexually assaulting the child victim multiple times. The report stated that DeFalco told the child not to say anything. DeFalco and the child victim spoke regularly on Snapchat. Now listen, this is the second time I've heard Snapchat come up, or maybe the third time, second or third time. In the last episode, we spoke about a city commissioner in I forget what city. Go watch the last episode that we dropped earlier today. A city commissioner was arrested for the same crime, and he was also looking for his victims on Snapchat, right? The city commissioner of a U.S. city looking for little girls on Snapchat. Go watch the last episode. Now let's continue. Now, next story. September 24th, just last week. An Arizona man beats his girlfriend beyond recognition simply for using his vape. This guy right here, right? They're saying this guy, because his girl took his vape, smoked his vape, they said he beat her face unrecognizable. Let's jump into the story. An Arizona man was charged with multiple counts after he savagely beat his girlfriend inside his apartment because he was angry that she used his vape without asking. Prosecutors said 32-year-old Nicholas Vinchulo beat the victim beyond recognition. She had 36 documented injuries to her head alone. She required significant medical intervention. Court records say the victim is now so terrified that she's considering leaving the state. Mr. Vinchulo is accused of grabbing the victim and slamming her into a wall, then punching her and throwing her into the bathroom. He pointed a gun at her head and called her a derogatory name, all because she used his vape when he was in a shower. Mr. Vinchulo tried to hide the evidence of the assault, even requiring the victim to take a shower, clean up her blood, and dispose of her clothes. The woman told the police that Mr. Vinchulo allegedly forced her to take Xanax pills and he was using Xanax and cocaine before the assault, as well as drinking alcohol. So this guy was high off cocaine and Xanax, and he was drunk. Listen, what is going on with white men in America? You off the Xans, you off the coke, and you off the liquor, and you just in the house beating your girl's face off. My God, what is going on in America? Anyway, let's continue. Take a look up on the screen. Authorities in Illinois make an arrest in a 1996 disappearance of Trudy Appleby. A man has been arrested in the murder of an 11-year-old girl who disappeared back in 1996, right? So this guy right here, right? The guy to the right, apparently back in 1996, an 11-year-old girl went missing. She just fell off the face of the earth. And this guy, he was able to enjoy his freedom for like 30 years, right? He never went to jail, right? He never went to jail for the crime. Meanwhile, we got endless amount of black men rotting in jail for crimes they did not commit. Black men, the number one exonerated demographic in the country. And we have white males in America, 11-year-old girls going missing for 30 years. And the suspects enjoying life, enjoying freedom in society. Anyway, let's jump into the article. Mr. Fisher is accused of kidnapping and strangling Trudy, that's the 11-year-old girl, and concealing her death. Trudy's body has never been found. The police and the prosecutor said Mr. Fisher does not face kidnapping charges because the statute of limitations has expired, right? So this guy, he done ran out the clock on the statute of limitations. So a few of the charges, he not even going to face those charges. He already beat them because he ran out the clock, right? So, man, let's continue, man. Let's continue. Welcome to the culture. Court records show 6 different women filed orders of protection against Mr. Fisher from 1997 to 2018. So not only this guy done strangled an 11-year-old girl, never got caught, never was held accountable. He caught 6 different cases. 6 different women have orders of protection against him, and he's just out and about, out in society. He's out free, right? Like I said, the conservatives always say, how come they always let the criminals back on the street? But criminals like this just roaming the street, committing murder 30 years ago, never got caught. 6 women got orders of protection against him. He's still in the street. Nobody saying nothing about this guy though. Anyway, let's continue. September 22nd, last week, a Pennsylvania man has been convicted of assaulting 2 children back in 1997, right? Now, listen, it's really a shame like how many cases come up every single day with this demographic. With a certain demographic, you have cases, literally multiple cases, multiple federal indictments every week, every day. What is going on in white America? How can you be 29% of the population, white males, 29% of the population, and you're committing 70 to 80% of the child exploitation offenses? My God, federal sentencing data says you are 70 to 80% of all those arrested for child exploitation material. And you're only a segment of the population, bro. Like, wow. And listen, some of y'all in the comment section do not know how to do math, right? A couple of y'all come into the comment section and say they're not 29% of the population. I'm talking about white males alone as a standalone group by themselves, right? I'm not talking about the entire group. We're talking about one specific group and the behavior they dominate. So them as a standalone demographic, they are somewhere between 29, maybe 30% of the population, depending on the year, right? So some of y'all need to go back to math class and learn how to break down demographics and percentages. But anyways, I want to get back to this guy right here who just finally got caught now for a crime he committed back in 1997, right? Take a look up on the screen. Let's get into the article. A 56-year-old man was recently convicted of assaulting children back in the late 90s, as well as possessing hundreds of images of child exploitation material, including photos of him assaulting the minors. Prosecutors said Mr. Dorwart assaulted a 7-year-old girl and a 5-year-old boy outside their residence near West Newport Road in Leacock Township back in April 1997. The victims, who are now in their 30s, reportedly testified that Mr. Dorwart approached them, offered the girl money to perform sex acts, and then he assaulted her. He later assaulted the boy. Authorities said Mr. Dorwart did not know the victims. Following his arrest, investigators reportedly discovered multiple electronics containing hundreds of images of child exploitation material, including depictions of naked infants and toddlers. The district attorney's office said more than 1,600 images of children were located on the defendant's cell phone and his laptops, and 144 images showed Mr. Dorwart assaulting and engaging in inappropriate contact with 3 different minors in his room. Another set of photos reportedly depicted Mr. Dorwart performing inappropriate acts on a baby. Now, welcome to the culture. Welcome to a brand new episode of the culture. Now, brand new article coming out today. An Ozark man has been accused of killing his own mother with a gardening tool. This guy right here, right, took out his own mama today. Now, let's jump into the article. Suspect Mr. Derek Ailing reportedly beat the victim in the head and the face, resulting in multiple skull fractures. The victim's husband, I'm assuming his father, said she had filmed Mr. Ailing acting aggressively and violent towards her in the weeks leading up to the incident, right? So apparently his mother had recorded him acting erratically in the recent days and weeks. Now let's continue. Officials have not publicly named the slain woman, but prosecutors wrote that Mr. Ailing had been threatening her because he was the beneficiary of her trust and he wanted his inheritance. Now, they're saying that this guy violently beat his own mother to death because he wanted his inheritance. He didn't want to wait for the inheritance, the inheritance to naturally come, when your mom dies of old age and she's surrounded by her loved ones, at the end of her life, after a long, eventful life, surrounded by your children and your grandchildren. He didn't want to wait for natural causes to take place, right? He said, listen, I need my inheritance now, so you got to go now. Let's continue. September 25th, just a few days ago, a first grade teacher in Queens, New York, has been federally charged with possessing and distributing child exploitation material. Now, like I said, this is right around me. These are my stomping grounds. Queens, New York, Jamaica, New York, Long Island, New York. And just a few days ago, we spoke about another teacher on Long Island, New York, that got caught up for the same exact crime. So that means in the last week, right in my vicinity, right in my immediate area, there have been 2 teachers from the same demographic of men that have been caught up for the same exact crime in the same week. Listen, man, it's gotta be culture. This is the other case in Long Island, September 24th, a few days ago. A Long Island teacher pleads guilty to possession of child exploitation material, right? That's this guy right here, right? That's this teacher, Long Island. Now, let's talk about the teacher in Queens that just got caught up a couple days right after. My God. Welcome to the culture. Let's continue. A New York City first grade teacher who was stockpiling on sickening child exploitation material, and his disgusted family turned him into the feds. A first grade teacher who worked at schools in both Manhattan and Queens has been charged in federal court with possessing and distributing hundreds of images and videos of child exploitation material that depict prepubescent children engaging in explicit conduct after investigators traced online accounts and internet addresses back to him. According to a criminal complaint, the investigation began back in 2024 when the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children alerted the authorities that a user had uploaded child sexual abuse onto a mobile messaging app. The user, identified in court papers as user number 1, posted hundreds of files between July 2024 and July 2025. The federal agents said the uploads came from multiple internet addresses linked to residents associated with Mr. Ward, including an apartment that he leased in Manhattan in early 2025. Records from the internet providers and law enforcement database confirmed Mr. Ward's connection to the addresses, according to the complaint. Investigators said relatives of Mr. Ward later recorded him admitting that he had received child exploitation material and forwarded to others on about 30 occasions. The prosecutor said that in at least one chat room, Mr. Ward identified himself as a teacher and discussed his sexual attraction to students. Man, welcome to the culture. Let's continue. The investigators said that after reviewing the Department of Education records, they confirmed that he worked as a first grade teacher in Manhattan from 2021 to 2024 and in Queens from 2024 to 2025, right? So like I said, right in my stomping grounds, he right around me. We have these individuals right in my circumference. 2 teachers in the same week, federal indictments. Let's continue. Mr. Ward also worked as a pre-K teacher for a year in Syosset, Nassau County, and as a summer camp co-director for a year, right? So this guy, like I said, he worked with children around the age of between, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old for years while he was collecting all these materials. Let's continue. Every day, Mr. Christopher Ward stood at the front of a classroom of first graders while allegedly storing hundreds of images exploiting children just like them, Manhattan U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton said in a statement. Now, my God. Now, I got a comment in my comment section from a good brother. He actually said something very interesting that I think is worthy of a conversation, right? He said this. This puts a very uncomfortable spin on all of the feed the children aid groups on the continent. You talking about Africa. There needs to be a moratorium on these immediately. Every single one of them. Their women are right to be fleeing. How can they have children with men that will then prefer the children over them? Now listen, what you said about that first part, all those NGOs on the continent, all those individuals going to the continent, we got to go help the children. We already discussed multiple cases of these guys from this same demographic going over to Haiti to build orphanages, come to find out they touching on the babies, right? These guys going over to Kenya to feed the children, find out they smashing their children, right? These guys going over here to do charity, coming to find out they touching on the children. We discussed multiple cases of that occurring, right? Multiple cases of that occurring, man. It's truly, man, we have to have some tough conversations with a certain demographic. Let's continue. Now, besides the NGOs that you mentioned, brother, you also forgot to mention we have to get rid of all of these foreign military bases. These foreign military bases, like, for example, take a look up on the screen. A Kenya court orders a UK soldier, a British soldier, to be arrested for the death of Agnes Wanjiru, right? So that's this lady right here to the right, and the British soldier to the left, who has finally, his identity has finally been revealed as somebody who took her life about 10 years ago, about a decade ago. So let's get into the story. An inquest in 2018 concluded that Miss Wanjiru was murdered by British soldiers after she was discovered near a British army base 2 months after she disappeared. A British soldier accused of murdering a Kenyan woman has finally been named. The British soldier accused of murdering the Kenyan woman named Agnes Wanjiru back in 2012 has been named as Robert James Purkis. Purkis, 38 years old, was named in court documents at the High Court in Nairobi this week, where a court issued a warrant for his arrest. The High Court Judge Alexander Muteti issued the arrest warrant on Tuesday in Kenya, with the prosecution telling the court that Mr. Purkis had been charged with a single count of murder. The Kenyan government would seek Mr. Purkis' extradition to face the charges. Mr. Purkis, who is originally from Greater Manchester, formerly served as a medic with the Duke of Lancaster Regiment, the infantry regiment for the northwest of England, including on tours of Afghanistan. Miss Wanjiru, a 21-year-old hairdresser and a mother to a baby daughter, was killed in 2012. She disappeared after a night out, and her body was found 2 months later in the grounds of a hotel where she was last seen drinking with the British soldiers. A postmortem examination concluded that she had died as a result of stab wounds to her chest and to her abdomen. There was also evidence that she had been beaten, but because of the condition of her body, it was not clear whether she had been sexually assaulted. Listen, when it comes to certain demographics, we know for a fact that we're not going to do all this and then leave out the assault. You know for a fact she was assaulted. Allegedly. But anyway, let's continue. Her mutilated naked body was found a few days later, concealed in a septic tank close to the army base. She had multiple stab wounds around her waist and had suffered a broken arm and a broken leg. Now, that's why I said to the brother, it's not only the NGOs and, the guys coming to do charity that we got to look at. It's also all of these foreign troops, because these guys are engaged in all type of debauchery. And I'm hearing that in Kenya, it's a whole, like in Kenya, what is going on in Kenya, man? Like I'm hearing that it's multiple cases of these guys just committing all types of abuse in Kenya, right? With the children, beating up the Kenyan women, like this girl breaking her arm, breaking her leg, stabbing her in the chest, throwing her in a septic tank, right? Just beating the women, assaulting the women, like so many mixed race babies left behind. When they go back to England, they leave the babies behind. I'm hearing it's just so much bullshit those guys are doing in Kenya. You guys have to get those guys out of Kenya. You guys have to get those guys out of Kenya. There should not be a single European troop in Kenya. It's just too much crime happening in Kenya. This is just a high profile case because of the barbarity of the crime. Breaking her arm, breaking her leg, stabbing her, throwing her, dumping her naked body in a septic tank. It's just the level of barbarity. But it's just so many little incidents happening in Kenya all the time of the women just it's all the time. It's a culture over there with the British soldiers. That's why he felt so comfortable doing it, right? Over 10 years had passed and nobody even came after him, right? She died back in like 2012 or something like that. And way after in 2025, the Kenyan government is just now coming with the arrest warrant. So it's a culture over there, bro. Those guys have no respect. And when we look at the culture, do you really want this type of culture around your women? These type of individuals? This demographic? Come on, brother. Get them boys out of Kenya. Get them boys out of Kenya ASAP. ASAP. For real. Anyway, I'm not going to be here too long, man. It's your boy Nefakari Desaline. Welcome to a brand new episode of The Culture. Welcome to The Culture. Listen, second single off the next project, The Spy in Bamako. Pin comment at the top. Link in the description. Subscribe to the Patreon, NTD1814. And I'm gone. Peace. Feel like a see me, I feel like I'm Saudi or ran up on Yan in the middle of Bamako. Enemy line, they claiming he innocent. Don't do no talking, I gotta move militant. Don't do no talking, I hit him with facts. 1804, bringing it back. 1804 like I'm Mother Cap Henry. King with the vision, the crown never empty. Top of the mountain, my soldiers defend me. Ducking and dodging the foreign intelligence. Hitting my dance on the DGSE. Dodging they traps, still on my feet. Feeling impeccable, feel like I'm shining. Go to my neck and I'm flooded with diamonds. Go to my neck and I feel like a mess. Feel like a lion, I'm in the savannah. Feel like the king when I'm up in the jungle. Never defeated, I never been humble. Come out victorious every encounter. Money machine give me help when I count it. Money machine stack it up in a beat. Heart of a king and I ride for the team. Weight of the world got it stuck on my shoulders. Bet you can feel it, my heart getting colder. Yeah, gotta stay focused so when it's in shots I gotta react. Cause I'm a target, I'm under attack. Grabbing a weapon, I tell her get back. Mission exposed, secrets unfold. Enemy try but I'm still in control. Got your boy sitting in Bamako prison. Hoping they wish we sending them home. Enemy know that we good under pressure. Been through the thunderous turbulent storm. Shorty a diamond, I told her she pressure. Hop in a whip and I'm taking her home. Hop in a whip and I'm swerving, I'm smashed. Killing my enemies, one of my passion. Rocking this gold like we in bikini. Feel like the captain, I'm clutching a heater. Yeah, gotta stay focused so when it's in shots I gotta react. Cause I'm a target, I'm under attack. Grabbing a weapon, I tell her get back. Mission exposed, secrets unfold. Enemy try but I'm still in control. Got your boy sitting in Bamako prison. Hoping and wishing we sending them home. Enemy know that we good under pressure. Been through the thunderous turbulent storm. Shorty a diamond, I told her she pressure. Hop in a whip and I'm taking her home. Hop in a whip and I'm swerving, I'm smashed. Killing my enemies, one of my passion. Rocking this gold like we in bikini. Feel like the captain, I'm clutching a heater.